Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Wednesday Lunch Live Sketch. My name is Frank Summers, and today we are going to be drawing Kraid from the Metroid series. I feel like Kraid kind of gets forgotten about a lot. I feel like Ridley always kind of steals the spotlight, and so for whatever reason, I kind of really wanted to just focus on Kraid. And I was originally actually going to do something different, like a head study or from a photo study, but Stemage, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, just came out with a new album, and as you may or may not know, they did all the Metroid metal stuff. So it had to be Metroid today. So let's hop into Photoshop, and we can just start drawing here. So I already have a rough idea of what I think I would like to do. Let me just put in a boundary. May have had my intro cut out there by the live stream. I'm not sure. So he's kind of like a blob. You know, he's got the man boobs. He's got man boobs. And here's his gesture. He's almost like a reptilian snowman. And I was thinking about having his mouth open. I was looking at some of the sprite sheets in my reference over here. Whoops. In my reference, I really like how, again, it's Ridley, but I like how wide Ridley's mouth gets. Kraid's mouth gets pretty wide too. So I want to kind of go with that a little bit. And I know the head rolls. It's got like he's like a longer head. Excuse me. And his shoulders, are kind of around here someplace. Here's like the snout of his nose. Not quite sure what goes on with his jaw, so I'll just mask it in for now. I know his eyes will be around here someplace. He has a third one in the middle. We will not see his other one. And he's got some spikes, but we'll get to them in a second. And I kind of wanted a hand in the foreground, this like a massive hand. So I'll just get the idea of where the hand will be. Oh, forgot to set my timer. Hey, Cortana, set alarm for 20 minutes.
Sure. Your alarm is set for
Okay, great. Normally I do this for 25 minutes, but, it's all right. The challenge with the Wednesday Lunch Live Sketch is to try and get something done as much as possible within a 25-minute time limit. So this will be where I think the hand will be. And I can't tell. I think I want to put his head and maybe push it a little further out some more from his body to create a bit more of a silhouette. What's my eraser doing here? Let's just pull some of this away. And again, I'm in my rough stage. I'm working loosely, and I'm really just thinking about the way things are going to be masked in. I'm thinking about composition right now. And the tilt of the shoulder, so maybe I'll bring the shoulder up a little higher. And so just kind of pull some of this out. And I'm going to have to pull the reference at some point because I kind of forget how some of this goes. There we go. But I wanted to have the jaw kind of breaking the silhouette a little bit. And we can have his man boobs down here. And somewhere around here is his gut firing spikes. I know he has very long, he's more finger than hand. And so this is going to be coming at us. There's some serious foreshortening going on here. So let me pull that reference up. Yeah, he's like more finger than anything, really. Let me take the reference and just kind of scoot it. I just want to look at the hand. Yeah, it's like bulbous shoulder, more thinner. And then this, So this is interesting. This is an interesting because it's not human. So let's pull some of this out. We can keep. He doesn't have a thumb, so that's interesting. Not aware of that. So we can keep this idea. He does have kind of a wrist, right? Like right there. And it's kind of like pieces of like a shell. So we can kind of do something like this. And then he's got like his plates, his armor plates. And he's definitely more reptilian, so almost like an alligator, maybe. And let's pull the reference over. He's got like some weird armor plating going on up there. So let's see if we can get the idea of where that would go. It kind of spins off of his brow. This plate. And it'll probably just tuck behind his shoulder. Maybe we won't even see it. Maybe we'll have a hint of the other one on that side. And yeah, he's pretty basic. He's pretty basic. This is way more lumpy than when I have it. So I want that shoulder overlapping everything. So this is subdivided, very lumpy. Yeah, so we can do something like this. A little bit of a crease in there. He's got these teeth. They're just kind of oddly placed. Let's try and give a little bit of a design to them. Place some long against some short. We'll give him some fangs here. And I'm not quite sure what his tongue is doing. It's long, it looks like. And we'll just have teeth coming up from behind the tongue. Rooted in some gum back here someplace. Okay. All right, let's get back to this hand because the majority of this is mouth and hand. Go save. Zoom out. Give it a squint. This top eye is a little bulbous. You can pull it back a little bit. Let's really emphasize this eye. This is the one we're kind of seeing the most of. We could pull a little bit of this away. And the idea of another brow back there. And maybe let's see if we can try something like this where maybe we have a hint of more brow, or maybe the underside of the underside of the lid. I'm not sure. Let's go back to the hand. I got distracted there. And let's try and find a little bit of a design to this hand here. Let's see what we can pull out. We have the block here of the palm. I could probably even foreshorten this palm more. So this would be the palm, our knuckle line, and we can try and construct these. Oh, they're very they're tubular, so they have very clear delineation. So he's got 1, 2, mainly just 2, then a claw, right? Yeah. Something like that. And try and do the same thing, maybe a little higher on this side. And maybe even have it overlap the jaw a little bit. Put a little bit of separation in there. So there's our back digit coming up into this knuckle. Moving into, this one can be dipped a little more. Maybe this one's a little more, this pinky is a little more forward. There's no pinky. I don't know what I'm saying. Maybe this one's coming more at us. Let's try that. Maybe this is kind of like a little more, something like this. Okay, I like that a little better. Let's refine that a little better. There we go. Cool. Good. And again, this is soft. His lips are soft. He has very soft, kissable lips. And let's find out where the major horns are. So he's got 3 on top of his head, so I was pretty close. Probably go a little spikier with him. And maybe we don't see the other one. It's rotated away from us. Let's zoom out a little bit. Give it a good squint. Let me hide the reference. All right. Let me give it a flip. The old flip test. Where are you? Zoom out. I think what I would like to see, and these borders are they're just temporary. I wanted to just give myself something to work with. I would like to see more of this. Let's project his belly a little more. Maybe his shoulders a little slightly too high. You can pull it back a little bit. Let's mass it in there. I still want to keep that overlap if I can. And the overlap of the shoulder and the jaw, it just creates a little bit of space, you know? Here's the center line. Here's our belly. Yeah, I think this needs to be way more accentuated. Accentuated. Okay, now the thing is, zoom out. Yes, a little better. This hand. Okay, so the hand has a bit of a. You could probably take the mass of this, shift it somewhat more like this. And this one could be played a little more down. So we have an angle going here. So we can probably even exaggerate that a little more. Let's play with the angle here on this. Cool. All right. Okay, so put it back. And what I'll do is I'll move into the next step of my. Okay, yeah, I like that much better. Now, the next thing I think I need to do actually is to find out what's going on with that headpiece. In the game sprite, it's definitely way lower than the illustration. I think I could take it and I can just do something like this with it. I think I could have a little bit of liberty with it. Okay, cool. All right, so the next thing I want to do is make a I'm going to call it tie down. It's not. This is not going to be a cleanup. Pull the opacity down a little bit, and this will maybe. Whoops, wrong layer. Maybe a little more. Cool, great. So we'll start defining some of this stuff a little better. Maybe even work a little darker. Using Kyle's animator pencil. It's a bit of a nice texture. I'm going to thin it out a little bit, though. And we're going to spend some time defining some of this stuff. I get the curvature of this eyeball in there. We can play a straight right here, another straight right here. And I think these straights would look nice against the gooiness of his jaw. Can you maybe give this a little bit of thickness? This plate, this armored plate. Here's his other eye. And we'll get the thickness of his brow in there. Let me undo that. There we go. Let's build it out. So we can get the sense that the brow is overlapping it. There we go. And I think just to give this a little bit of shape, just do something like that. I don't like that. This can have a slight curve to it. Straight. Again, a slight curve. And straight. And just a little bump. Okay, cool. Save. All right. And so here's where the mouth gets kind of bumpy. And his teeth. Again, I want to break that silhouette. I'm going to make sure we can clearly see. Okay. And let's make sure we get some variety in these teeth. You know, maybe a fat one. Some curve to them. This one could be straighter, maybe longer. And they're sitting in here somehow. I'm not quite sure where his gums are. This one could be a little fatter. And we'll get one more fat one back there. There's his tongue. Let's get the bottom of his jaw. Again, we'll play the interior of the jaw, relatively speaking, straight. And there we go. Some lumpiness here. And the other side of that piece, the armor piece. If I had time, I'd like to throw some tone into this, some color, very similar to what I did with the Beholder from last week. So I'm going to work a little thicker here too. And there's the knuckles. And here's that wrist. Foreshortened arm, I suppose. You can call it an arm. And a little bit of anatomy in there. Let's see. Okay, let me look at on time here. Maybe 10 more minutes, maybe 5 minutes. So what I think I'd like to do is maybe introduce some color into this. So we'll just call this local color. Set it to multiply. I used to have a color wheel. I think I did this last week. Extensions, painter's wheel. It's not. This thing is not amazing. He's greenish. Wait, he's green, right? Yeah. More or less green. Flow here. And let's just mass in here. I don't have to be amazing on this. This might be a little too saturated. And I think its belly is kind of a tan. Just realized there's also the back of its head. I forgot to. Get that in there. It's kind of important. Save and back to work. Flow is off again. So I'm pretty sure also, let's look at the reference again. So it's a little more yellowish, his belly. Could work. The problem is his lips and his belly are almost the same exact. Aye. Snooze. 10 minutes, guys. Give me 10 minutes. Give me 10 minutes, and I will give you the world. Aye. And yeah, I mean, I feel like it's probably gonna be under here someplace. And I'll crop down here. Okay, let's get the interior of that mouth. Tongue's kind of purplish, I think. Yeah, you could probably even go a little more red. Actually, I'm liking this purple. Let's just continue to get the local color in there, and we'll start carving out some tones. Get rid of this. And so we need some grayish for these guys. And his eyes, that's the next thing. So then his eyes need to be red. Pretty saturated. Use a similar here for the teeth. Part of the challenge of this is to try and get it done as quick as possible, but at the same time, I'm also trying to, you know, it's a bit of a balance. I gotta stop doing monsters with so many teeth. Let's carve that out. Do the same with these things right here. Alrighty, it's looking like something. Let's save. And I think the next thing we can probably do is think about some of this. We can just put a tone in, tone. And we'll set that to multiply 50%. Oh, I forgot I had my painter wheel open. You can go a little bluish. Actually, let's do this so that we're start cutting in, carving some features. Okay, great. I imagine most of these would be mostly in shadow. A little bit of tone in the eyes. Most of this will be in shadow. And once again, a couple of teeth here. Could probably go a little darker on the interior of the mouth. Okay, looking like something. I guess we're getting someplace. Maybe we can push this hand more in the shadow. No. So this is mainly more, you know, and with only maybe the tips of the claws kind of peeking out, and we can probably even carve some of this Something like that. Hold on. Carve out some of this here. Just using the eraser just to carve away. Great. Let's carve a little more of that away. I mean, what of course is missing here is any kind of midtones. So we can go back onto the local color here, and let's grab some of this. Grab some of this green. Shift a little darker, and we can kind of give him some detailing. And I know he's got like a lot of like blotches, and so we can kind of, since he's so large and I'm definitely running low on time, we can just strategically pick some. Just help. Probably go a little darker with these. Just help give a little bit of personality. This little type of stuff. And it just occurred to me that underneath of his hands is a similar color like this. Palms of his hands are this. All right, dismiss. I'm going to sign off. Let's just kind of finish up a little bit. Let's pull back our darker color, go to town a little more. And I think the last thing we can do, put a little bit of highlight in the eyes. And what he's missing really is his midtones. And I think I can just finish this up by putting a layer in. We'll just call this solid. And I want to go purplish. Let's see. Let's put something behind him. Let's find something purpley dark. And we'll just paint bucket that in there. That's not what I wanted to do. What am I doing wrong? Deselect, get my marquee. I don't know what. Oh, I know what's going on. Group here. Kraid. On side of group. Normal. And now my solid. There we go. That does the trick. I think if I do some cropping here, you know, some clever cropping, I think that'll hide some of this stuff. And I can also see on the local color layer, we can do a little bit of cleanup on this stuff. You know, it's just, that's sloppy. We can clean that up. Where else? Here. It'll just help bring it together a little more. Great. Alrighty, well, there we go. I think I'll crop like right around there like that. There we go. Well, that'll be about it. I think that's good for now. I can't imagine myself doing any more with this. One more thing. Well, maybe I'll do it later. I think I'd like to tone the back part of his plate back there. Well, that'll about wrap it up for today. I thank you guys once again for joining me for another Wednesday Lunch live sketch. I hope you enjoyed it. I do this every Wednesday at 12 noon for 25 minutes. I ran over by about 10 minutes today. I apologize about that, but that's how it goes. As you can see, I have some other links here. I do some animation, all kinds of other fun and exciting things that like you won't believe it. It's amazing. Please subscribe. He's got that button down there. You can click that and follow all my nonsense. And I do Toon Boom tutorials every Monday at 4 o'clock. They're scheduled to post at 4 o'clock. And like I said, join me here every Wednesday at noon, or check out the recording. Leave some comments if there's anything you'd like me to draw in the future. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. And you folks all have a great week. Take care.